So what Wakelet is a free platform that allows you to save, organize, and share content from across the web. So really what it is, it's a curation tool. So it allows you to basically bring your best resources together in a nice, organized manner. But it does so many different things. And I really found it super effective with my classes themselves. With my lessons, instead of just showing a slideshow during a Zoom call or something like that, I actually go through each step and each activity. I let the Wakelet guide my lessons. So Wakelet takes the idea of curating resources, and it ultimately what it does is it turns something like this. So my example with my group in Texas last week was basically you ask a friend for, some resources for virtual science labs, and what that friend does is it composes this big long list of links essentially, and you look at it, you might click on the first one and you probably are never going to look at it again because it's overwhelming and it tells you absolutely nothing. And that is a true story that did happen to me once, and I never went back to it. But it turns it into something like this. So now we've taken those resources. We didn't take all of the resources though. We just took some of the best ones and we made it a little bit more visually appealing. So now you see that I am able to add my own add text to it. I'm able to add articles to it. And then here I have the best ones that I found, and this also gives me a little information. So now the person who's looking at it can understand what they actually do. And I can add a video and even a Twitter page, a Twitter post, and just a little more information, an uploaded PDF. But then the really nice thing is they have this nice little feature that can take me into read mode. So if you were to share something like this with a student, for instance, and they may have some sort of a learning disability, you're able to differentiate your instruction because you have an immersive reader. And on the immersive reader, when you click on it, you could see that you are able to change your text preference. So I can change the size, I can change the spacing, the fonts, and I can even change the color if I want to. And then they also have what is called grammar preference. So the parts of the speech that you can actually have it colored so that each time it goes on a word, if it's a noun, it's going to be purple, that sort of a thing. And then you have reading preferences where you can change it to go line by line, but you also have a picture dictionary. So when you click on the word, it didn't do it. There it is. You click on the word and then it'll actually show a picture also. So there is a lot of opportunity of using this with students. If you share like a lesson with them or that sort of thing. And then it also gives you the option to translate. So they also have a translation option. Now the Immersive Reader doesn't work for everything, but it does work for a lot of articles and most websites, and it also works on just like the basic text. And that's basically an example of what a Wakelet can do as a curation tool. Mostly what I'm going to be discussing today, particularly in the breakout session, is going to be uses in adult education. So I wanted to show at least one example of how, and this is actually done by Jeff Gumas, who's here today with Crowded Learning, but he and I are kind of Wakelet buddies, I think. We actually presented with them last year. But he put one together specific for blended learning in the math classroom. And he gives a little example. In this one, you can see he's got it set up differently where it's kind of next to each other. So you can do different things like that as well. And it just kind of breaks it down for you, the different options for math and the blended learning. The nice thing also is I just kind of want to show you some basic features. You're able to collaborate with others. So even if they don't have a Wakelet account, they can still contribute to the same Wakelet. You're able to very easily share it. It even provides you with a QR code, so you can always use that, or you can just send a link. But they also have options to share on social media. But my favorite one is Google Classroom, because I use Google Classroom religiously with my students. So I can simply click on Google Classroom and it integrates it onto an assignment. And then if you see one that you like, because there's already so many of them already made out there, you can always make a copy and you can change it and edit it to meet your needs. And then what I really like too is you can actually turn this into a PDF. So I tend to use these instead of just handing out my slides, copies of my slides when I do a professional development training. I will use a Wakelet instead, and I give them a digital option as well as a PDF. And you can see that it basically, it's going to export it and it turns it into a nice like handout basically. So you have that as an option as well, and this is kind of what it ends up looking like. As soon as my computer opens, okay. And then it just makes for a really nice handout that I've found really, really useful when I'm doing my professional development trainings.